I'm April Summerford, for those of you who know me and are part of my Facebook group and going through this sort of self-care during the pandemic. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm a women's health and leadership coach. And I specifically help women struggling with endometriosis, pelvic pain, and overall just know that they're smart enough to figure out their healing journey and want to actually make that happen. So I hope that you guys are doing well during all of this. And today I have a special treat for you. I'm having Jessica Maddox on, and she is a holy yoga instructor and a good friend of mine. We've been friends for a few years now. She's extremely talented in an arena that I've been working on, but is not my expertise, which is the actual structural part of healing. So we all know about functional healing of our diet, our lifestyle, our cells, but then there's this whole component of actually keeping our muscles toned, keeping them flexible, and keeping things in alignment, which I know for me during certain times of the month, things not being in alignment has really compounded and caused extra pain. And so Jessica's going to share with us some things that we can do to actually put things in alignment and be more aware of when things are actually causing pain and where the pain's coming from. Because I know from my personal experience, it's been really awful when you're in pain and you're like, I'm just getting pain signals. I don't know what's going on, what to do. And so it's really nice to have some movements in your arsenal where you can go to those and know, okay, I'm going to work on this muscle, or I'm going to do this stretch to really get things moving and get out of pain. So thank you so much for joining us, Jessica. I'm really excited to have you. And tell us a little bit about how you got into yoga and how long you've been doing it. And, you know, why are you the expert of all things? Because I know you are, but I want them to know.
Expert. Well, I'm still working on that expert part. I have been teaching yoga for 10 years. I got into yoga. I actually learned about yoga when I was living in Belgium.
Okay.
We had a roommate that was into yoga, and I loved the whole idea of the lifestyle of yoga. It just fit with my hippie soul. Mm-hmm. And I started kind of researching, what is it? Can I do it? Is it for me? And it was definitely for me. I moved back to the States and got into a certification and have been teaching literally ever since. I had a job before I was even certified. I didn't teach until I was certified, but I had a job waiting for me. And so as soon as I got my certification, I started teaching at a local studio in town, and I love it. I'm obsessed with the body and how we're designed and our intention. Mm-hmm. I was at a women's studio, so I got to work with women for the first 6-7 years of my teaching life. And I love women. I love the woman body. I think it is such an incredible thing. I ended up having 2 children in that time, mm-hmm. doing home births, and just that whole process, getting certified through prenatal, postnatal yoga as well, and just loving learning about our design and our all of that stuff. So
that's awesome. Well, I have lots of questions about all those things in the future, so we'll have to do another conversation
yes.
Focused on all of those things. But today, you know, I really want this to be for any woman who's like, look, I don't understand yoga, you know, like maybe they're coming from the really beginning stages of, I don't know what yoga is. I don't even know how to stretch properly. I just know that I'm in pain and I don't know what's going on and I want to figure this out. Or maybe they're more advanced and they're like, okay, I've learned some of these things, but I still would love some more tricks in my book when things go wrong, or when, you know, I'm getting sciatic nerve pain or things like that, and what to do. So tell us a little bit about what you've prepared for us, because this is an actual practical video where we're going to go through a few stretches that you've prepared for us and things that we can do. So tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, so I'll take you through some breathing, because breathing is really the first step. We need to know how to breathe. Just through life and our culture and the way things go, we tend to only use about 20% of our lungs. And so learning how to breathe fully and deeply using the entire lung is a really great practice. We know that we need to breathe to live. That is our life source. And that breath takes fresh oxygen to all parts of our bodies. And that is important for healing. That is important for pain relief. It's important for all those things. So I take you through breathing, and I connect your breath with your pelvic floor, because they are very connected. Your pelvic floor will naturally begin to engage and release based on your breath. And I'll take us through that a little bit, talk more deeply about that, learning how to connect in that space. And then some of the movements, we're going to do legs up the wall. We're going to do a couple of postures using the wall. and they're all really gentle. They're meant to be soft and easy. We're not forcing anything. All of this is supposed to feel good, especially when you're feeling pelvic pain. We don't want to force anything. There's a lot that your pelvis is holding on to, that holds all of our organs inside of our body. Our pelvis is that structure that's holding everything in. And if you've ever been pregnant, or if you're currently pregnant, it's even more so, because then it's just relying on the muscles of the pelvic floor, because the pelvis, the structure of the bones actually move out. And so there's more pressure on the muscles. So doing all of these things that I have prepared is going to be easy and comfortable for you, or at least that's the idea. If it's not comfortable, definitely don't do them, because no pain is not a no gain situation. This is a no pain is no good. So we don't want that pain. This is for relief. We also will go through a squat. Squats are actually really beneficial for your pelvis and your pelvic floor. It helps strength and tone. We want to bring flexibility and strength. You do want to be careful. I'm not sure if any of your women are dealing with prolapse or any of that sort of thing. That can be a little bit more tricky. So if that is your issue, prolapse, then we want to not do a lot of the squats, because that just puts extra pressure. We want to do a little bit more training before we get into that. But if you're dealing with endometriosis or just pelvic pain, even some PCOS can do these things that I have set up for you. We'll go through the squat, because that will give you the alignment and all of that. And then we'll do a couple of things. I think I'll have you do cobra and a psoas stretch. So cobra, you're laying on your belly, which can sometimes seem counterproductive to the pressure on your belly if you're feeling any of that pain, but it can be good. It helps stimulate and increase the circulation to those areas as well. Those are what we'll be going through.
That's awesome. I'm so excited for everybody to start to learn these different, components of the healing process, because I know from my own journey, it just wasn't ever mentioned. It was like, well, you have all this pain, here's some drugs, they send you on your way. And I had to do all my own homework on how to put together, my diet and all these different components, which I'm trying to help women accelerate that time frame. Hopefully they don't spend a decade, having to do that. But even so, like, even in my own journey, it was really late that I actually even got to the whole, oh, wait a minute, like there's a structural, component to this. And when I really started getting into yoga and started to really listen to my body and start to see that there were serious tight points from sitting too long at work or different things like that, I started to get into this. And so I was thinking right now, it's actually an amazing time for everyone to get into this, because there really isn't any boss or anyone that can't let you move right now. Everyone's at home. So it's sort of like they're all on this journey together, and it's a great time to take breaks in between work and just start doing some of these poses. No one's going to be watching you. So do your legs up the wall and, practice these things. So I'm just really excited to share this with everyone and to get them kicked off and started on this. And I just can't thank you enough, Jessica, for sharing all of your knowledge, expertise, and wisdom with us as we kick it off. And then in the future, we'll talk about other things that they want to talk about and learn some more moves, because there's a whole world of this that we're just on the tip of the iceberg of. So
I barely scratched the surface and tried to keep it real simple, because I want everybody to be able to do this, not feel intimidated. But there is a lot of stuff out there. This is my passion. I love sharing it. So thanks for having me.
Me too. Thank you for joining me. I'm so excited. So we'll share this. And then if anyone has anything specifically they want to request to learn in the future, let us know, because we will completely, develop things based on what your needs are, and we can develop anything really. So if you're like, yeah, this was great, tell us about it, comment, let us know, and then we'll go ahead and we'll create more of these types of things in the future. So
yay.
Thank you so much for your time, Jessica. And I can't wait to get this out to everybody, and then we'll go from there.
Yes, so fun. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Talk to you later.
Hey, here's a couple of postures or movements and some breath work to help with pelvic pain and endometriosis. So to start, we are going to start in a comfortable seated position. And if you can see, I've got my bolster here. You don't have to have a bolster. You can sit on some blocks. If you've got a block, you can sit on a blanket, or you can sit straight on your mat. I like the bolster because it's just a little bit more comfortable and it helps my knees kind of drape down. So if you have tight hips, sitting on a bolster is going to be a little bit more comfortable because the knees can drape down versus being up really high. So you're just going to sit in a nice comfortable position. You're going to relax. You can close your eyes and you're going to take your awareness to your pelvic floor. And you're going to begin to breathe in and out through the nose, taking the breath to the base of the belly. Your breath is really important in your movement. It's important for life, but definitely important for pelvic pain because our pelvic floor naturally engages and relaxes during our breath. So our pelvic floor naturally will relax as we inhale. You can, if you even pay attention to the pelvic floor, as you inhale, you can feel your pelvic floor gently press away. And as you exhale, it naturally engages and draws in and up. So learning to be aware of that and learning how to breathe and relax and engage when necessary based on certain movements or lifting or different activities can actually be really helpful in supporting your pelvic floor. So just go ahead and breathe here in and out through the nose and begin to feel that gentle, it's a teeny tiny micro movement in your pelvic floor with the breath. And you can even begin to work on engaging and releasing your pelvic floor at different times. So knowing that your pelvic floor relaxes with the inhale, engages with the exhale, you can try and keep it relaxed for the inhale and the exhale. So gently or intentionally pressing the pelvic floor. We're not pushing, but it's just kind of that releasing movement as we exhale instead of allowing it to draw up. And then you can reverse it and go the other direction. So as you inhale and exhale, keeping it engaged can help. You don't want to keep it engaged a whole lot when you're not working or doing stuff, just because Kegels can actually be more detrimental to your pelvic floor health, and they can be beneficial when just done in a seated position. They need to have other movements involved with them. So there's some breath there. You can do this for as long or as little as you'd like. Just getting connected to your pelvic floor can actually be really beneficial. And if your pelvic floor doesn't relax with the inhale, engage with the exhale, that's something that you can maybe help rebalance through your breath and just a daily practice of breathing. Now I'm going to move to another posture that's going to be really great for your body. So again, you can use a bolster, you can use a blanket or a towel, you can use a block. Your choice, or none. You don't even have to use any of it if you don't want to. So we're gonna do legs up the wall. So with this one, you bring your one hip. I've got my right hip currently up against my wall, and I'm going to slowly lower myself down and swing my legs up the wall. And then I kind of wiggle however I need to get my buns as close to the wall as I possibly can. Now where the bolster or the block come in, you can have it laid down first and be on it, or you can lift up and slide it underneath the body. And again, you'll need to kind of wiggle to get your buns as close to the wall as possible. This posture is heaven. You can lay here forever. This alone is a great posture, just relaxing and breathing. It's gonna help reverse the blood flow. It's gonna bring release. It's wonderful. Now, coming out of this pose, really important, you don't want to just throw the legs down and get out of it. You want to ease your way down so that you don't contradict all the work that you just did. So we're reversing the blood flow here. We're draining any extra blood out of the feet. We're bringing relief to our feet and to our legs, to our hips and our pelvis as well. And if we just throw the legs down, it rushes the blood back down and it contradicts all the things that we just did. So when you come out really slowly. But in this posture, what you can do after laying here for 2, 5, 10 minutes, you can do a couple of other things. So we can flex our feet and then open our legs up as wide as it's comfortable. And then you're gonna spin the toes down and you're gonna open up the hips, and you can just kind of relax here. We're not locking out our knees. My knees are really soft, but my feet are slightly engaged to help protect my knees. This is really good opening up my adductors, my inner thighs as well. Same thing, you've got to breathe here to keep the body moving, relaxing. You can again bring your awareness to your pelvic floor and feel that natural engagement and release as you breathe. Another great one, take the hands underneath the knees to lift the legs back up gently and slowly. You can bring the soles of the feet together and allow the heels to drop towards the groin. Again, just relaxing and breathing. Any of these you can stay in for 2, 5, 10 minutes, however long you would like. Another great one, taking the soles of the feet to the mat and dropping the knees, or dropping the heels, towards the body. If you're really tight, this isn't gonna be available for you. You might need to scoot your body away from the wall, and that's fine, it's the same benefit. So my feet are slightly wider than my hips here, and it's like I'm in a squatting position, but I'm reclining. So this is gonna give good opening, it's gonna give good stretch, and again, breathing here. 2, 5, 10 minutes, however long. Next thing, you can cross one ankle over the knee. You're gonna flex the foot, and you're gonna drop that long leg, the heel, towards the bum. So you're creating kind of this figure 4 shape in your legs. And again, depending on how tight your body is, will determine how high or low that other foot is. Now my bent knee is pressing away from my body. I'm not pushing it, just the natural strength of my leg is pushing it away. I'm not forcing anything, it's gentle pressure, opening up my glutes and my hamstrings, getting into my hips a little bit as well. Same thing before, this might be too close to the wall. You can 100% scooch away, give yourself some space, creating a 90-degree angle in that long leg and going from there. So make sure you do both sides. Same thing, keeping that foot flexed is gonna help protect your knee and your ankle. Breathing here. Full breath. And gently release. And then I'm gonna sit here for just a moment, letting the blood kind of return. I'll gently roll to one side, resting for just a moment before I rush up, and then get on up. Good. So we've got a lunge posture is gonna be really helpful. So you can start by taking one foot out. You can have a blanket or a bolster underneath your knee for a bit of extra support. But I'm gonna create this shape here, and then depending on how open I am, I'm gonna press my hips down and forward, really getting a big stretch in the front of that. This is my left leg, so the front of my left hip, opening up my hip flexors, my psoas, all of that. So I wanna keep my right knee stacked on my ankle, so making sure I'm not coming too far forward here. If I'm this flexible and I wanna come down this far, I just need to move my foot forward. You can use blocks to help get down a little bit deeper to help support the body. We're pressing the hips down and forward here. So I'm not letting my belly dump forward. I'm really engaging and pressing my hips down and forward to really isolate my psoas and my hips here. Good. Again, do both sides. Those are great for you. So another one is cobra pose. This is good. So the lunge posture that I just did and this one and the next one are really good for endometriosis. So for cobra, you're gonna bring your elbows underneath your shoulders. My hands are about shoulder distance apart. The tops of my feet are pressing into the mat. My tailbone is pressing down, or I'm pushing my pubic bone towards the ground. No pain. If that feels really painful, you can grab a towel, a blanket to give you some cushion. This is not meant to be painful. I'm not forcing my body into the ground. It's just the engagement of pulling my tailbone away from the body and bringing my pelvis in alignment here. So from here, then I press into the elbows, lifting up. My shoulders reach back, so I don't want to be here. My shoulders reach back, my crown reaches forward, and my belly is really strong and active here. I'm not relaxing anywhere from my shoulders down. Everything is really active from my shoulders down. The tops of my feet are pressing into the mat, the pinky toe included. My tailbone's reaching away, my belly's engaged. So we're getting a big opening stretch. You're getting a little pressure on the belly and on your pelvis area that is going to help kind of massage and stimulate as well as stretch and lengthen. Same thing, breathe. We are not holding our breath through any of these movements. Holding your breath actually puts more pressure on your pelvic floor, and we don't want to do that. So keep breathing. You can stay here as long or as little as you'd like. Gently release. And then the last posture that I have, so squats. Squats are good and bad. You're gonna have to know your body a little bit. You're gonna have to pay attention to how you feel and don't overdo it. So I'm gonna use my block, but I've got this chair here, and I'm gonna bring my feet just inside that chair so that my knees are right in front of the edge of the chair. So it's not gonna let my knees come in front of my feet at all. This is kind of to help keep me here. I can use the back of the chair to hold on to. So I am engaging my pelvic floor here. I'm turning my tail out, so I'm tilting my pelvis forward. So I'm lengthening the pelvic floor. And I'm going to begin to sit down or pretend I'm sitting down in a chair. And I will go as low as I can, keeping my tail lifted and my pelvis dumping forward. The moment I tuck my tail, I've gone too far. So I'll go as low as I can, keeping my tail lifted, and I'm gonna breathe. So this is good because you're stretching your pelvic floor, because your pelvic floor connects at the pubic bone and the tailbone. So we're lengthening the space here by tilting the tailbone up. But then I'm also engaging, strengthening it by keeping my pelvic floor engaged, which is what we want. We want to strengthen and stretch at the same time. As we just work on strength and not the stretch, we get too strong, it's not flexible, it's painful, we get all sorts of other things that come along with that. The same thing if we stretch it but we don't strengthen it, it ends up getting too flexible, it's too loose, not what we want. We want that nice in between. So same thing, you can do about 3 of those squats a day, breathing the entire time, not holding your breath, and yeah, enjoy. As your body opens and gets a little bit stronger, you can move deeper. Listen to whatever is happening in your body. Don't overdo it. You're not forcing anything. Forcing your body is not going to be beneficial for you or it. So yeah, thanks.
All right, I hope you found that video useful. I know I did. I learned something new, and I have some new stretches that I'm going to be working on, especially that squat. That does not look easy to master, so I'm going to be working on that. So let me know in the comments what you guys learned from this video, what was helpful, what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of. I have all kinds of new things planned for us in the future. I have an expert in trigger point therapy. She's amazing. She's going to teach us about trigger points on the bodies and things that we can explore ourselves to get out of pain when we're in pain. And I also have a few different doctors that I really trust on this topic. They're experts in this field. They really know how to help women with endo. They do not use the conventional, oh, everyone needs drugs and surgery approach. They use a very nuanced approach to healing. So if you have any questions for a doctor during this time, let me know and I'll start compiling questions. And when I do the interview with them, I'll know exactly what you want me to ask of them. So I'm happy to do that. And if you haven't done it yet, download, I'll put the link below, the Endo Hacks, the 10 Endo Hacks download I created for you. I created it for women who are just starting out on this healing journey. They're things that I wish I knew when I started. I wish someone had been here to help guide me through this process. It was quite painful. So I'm just doing it so that you can have access to things I didn't have access to. Also, for those of you who have joined and downloaded the 10 Endo Hacks download, you're part of my email list now, and I send out a weekly email called the Endo Hacker Weekly. So if you're interested in being a part of that, you can download that, or you can just shoot me an email at april@beyondendo.com, or you can download at beyondendo.com and you can get the 10 Endo Hacks. And then you'll be part of my weekly list talking about latest strategies, new techniques, things we're learning all the time about women's health and endometriosis and pelvic pain. So if you have any questions, like I said, let me know. I'm doing this for you, and I look forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday at 2 in the Facebook group. So see you Tuesday at 2. Bye.